Zombie apocalypse.
Welcome to this episode of the Poppa B Show. Today I got a guest host. I got Rocco sitting to my right, maybe to your left on the screen. I don't know. Shit gets fucking turned around. That's the fucking wonderful world of doing videos. So today's subject is going to be diets, fad, fiction. I got 5 we're going to go off of. I've got Rocco here for his expertise advice. You can look at him. I'm not the epitome of health, but look at this guy over here. How tall are you, Rocco?
6'2".
6'2". And he's pressing up there in age. Look at me. If I'm actually older than Rocco, but I don't look like Rocco does because he puts the time in. You can see him around the neighborhood every once in a while. He puts the cardio in, and he puts the time in and taking care of his health. So we're going to talk about diets, fad, fiction, bust. We're going to talk shit. It's just kind of fucking open floor. You know how this show rolls. I've got several on here we want to talk about, but we're going to ask Rocco a quick question. What do you see with a lot of these diets out there? What do you do in your normal practice for your health, what you eat, and for your weight control?
Over the years, I've done many different kinds of diets. Basically, diets are simple. Diet's just what you're eating. And depending on what your goals are, whether you want to gain muscle, lose fat, just change the way you're at, you got to manipulate your calories. And that's what every diet's going to have you do. And all diets work. And that's one of the best things about diets is they all work for a little bit. And then once your metabolism kicks in, that's where you got to be a little bit more scientific about your approach.
So with the whole dieting aspect of things, I know a lot of diets they're ups and downs. People have highs and lows. You get on this diet, it's great. You lose a ton of weight. And then, like me, I tend to find it because I don't put in the work. That's the problem, is that a lot of these diets, you get on it, you follow it if they're easy to follow, but then I don't put in the work for my health benefit. I don't exercise, I don't put in cardio. So it's the yo-yo effect. So you put in the work, without a doubt. I mean, look at you. You put in the work.
I do a little bit of a yo-yo effect just in my training. Throughout the course of a year, I'll go to where I'm gaining weight, and then I'll go to where I'm losing weight. When I say weight, I'm talking about gaining muscle and losing fat. Obviously, I gain some fat when I'm gaining muscle as well. That's part of the extra calories you take in. But what I do is I switch it every year so I can lean out for the spring. And by doing that, you don't tax your metabolism as much. I know sometimes it's a little bit difficult when people start gaining mass amounts, and that's what you're talking about with your yo-yo dieting. But I try and keep my yo-yo dieting more in control. So I'll be trying to pack on some pounds, hopefully mostly muscle, and then when I lean that out, come spring, underneath I'll have a nice muscular physique.
That's no bullshit. So what we'll try to do, we'll pick his brains a little bit, and then I'll ask him some questions, and we'll get little Rocco's fitness tips, and I'll put it down in the description below so you guys can click on it, take some tips, ask some questions. I'll fire back at him. I've known Rocco for 12 years now at least.
That's been a while.
Neighbors, we've hung out quite a bit. All right, so I got top 5 we'll kind of nail down for a second, and then we'll just shit back and forth on it. I'm not a health expert. I'm not a trained specialist. I'm just talking shit about different stuff that's out there and picking his brains. He's not a certified trainer.
Well, I am. I'm IFA certified for International Fitness Association, and I'm also certified through the state of Florida to teach health and physical education.
There it is. See, I should have done my homework. All right, so we're going to do top 5. I got keto, intermittent fasting, the vegan diet, fuck that, and Weight Watchers and the paleo. So there's that. So let's kick it off with keto, low carb and high fat.
Yep, keto diets, it's very popular right now. Everybody's on it. It's a higher fat diet, extreme low carbohydrates, and oddly enough, your protein is what I would call a medium range. So basically your body wants to get into ketosis where it's burning ketones as its main fuel source.
Awesome. Some of the downfalls with the keto diet that I have listed, so you have to cheat. This guy spits it right off the top of his head. Fucking brilliant. Increased lipid profile and, of course, weight gain. Keto diet's great if you can stay in ketosis. If you don't control it, you got that yo-yo effect, which, of course, you got to stick to something, and then you fall off. You're only going to not reap the benefits anymore. You're going to go in reverse. Next one I got is, I've done quite a bit, especially recently, intermittent fasting. Basically, this one says fast for 2 days and then 5 days of like a Mediterranean type diet. I've done it. I've actually went from 135 pounds. I sit somewhere around 106 to 112 on a good day, or bad day. Could be a little higher, but I think it works. What do you think about intermittent fasting?
Well, myself, I was following the OMAD, which is the 1 meal a day, which is I'm basically fasting for 24 hours. I try and I'll mess around with it a little bit. As long as you're going about 20 hours, I was working that. The problem with intermittent fasting is you have to make sure you're watching out for hidden calories. If you look at your NutraSweet or Splenda packets, I hate to throw those names out there because we're not getting paid for this, but if you look at those, they contain...
I fucking like Splenda.
Yeah, exactly. They contain maltodextrin, which is derived from wheat, and it does spike your insulin levels.
Wheat.
So when you are trying to stay in a fasted state, it's best to stick with water, unsweetened coffee, unsweetened teas, just so they don't mess around with your insulin levels. But that aside, fasting is actually pretty good. A real simple fast would be your 8 to 16 hour fast. That's you sleep through most of that stuff, so you'll just start hitting your fat stores as energy, and it helps rebuild your muscle tissues. And it actually keeps your muscle on as well. People would think it's the opposite, but your body does amazing things just keeping itself from dying. So, yeah.
Awesome. Intermittent fasting, easy to follow, right? There's really no special thing to it. You can kind of just watch what you eat, and then it's one of the easiest ones to follow because you're not going out buying a ton of food.
Well, and I just want to interject here. With your intermediate fasting, you can run any diet you want to while you're doing that, as long as you're fasting for whatever your goal is. You can do a simple 16-hour fast, and you're only going to eat for 8 hours a day, which is an actual long time. But you can do a keto diet following that. You can do a high carb, low fat diet. You can do anything you want. You can be vegan. You can do the Mediterranean diet. So you can play around with it as long as you're not eating. Some people that I've met that did really well, they're eating cookies and stuff as long as they're just doing it during their eating time, and it's doing well for them.
All right, so buying a big Kit Kat that's not on a diet, but I find that beside me somewhere while I'm working half the time. It's my falling out. The next one I'm going to talk about is a lot of these money markets, Weight Watchers. It's great because they teach you about eating, but man, the buy-in, if you go and take what you want for the nutritional value, what you're learning, then I think that's the key takeaway. Don't keep shoveling all your money over to them because it's a point system, and they basically teach you how to portion your food, buy the right foods, and it's on a point system. However, they really win because they want you to buy their shit.
Pretty much every diet out there. When you see all these health ads on TV or on the internet, Facebook's really pushing a lot of those out there. These people aren't going out there going, I would like to save the world. I want to do this for free because it's going to help me get into whatever I believe in, heaven or wherever. That's not how that is. What they're doing is they're trying to make some money, and they're going to exploit people. At the same time, you can find a lot of help with people that are trying to exploit you. With Weight Watchers, you have a point system, and what that's doing is helping people who are out of control their diet. So it will work. If you're the kind of person that needs a crane to use the restroom, I'm not talking about being big here, I'm talking about being big here, then using the point system's actually going to help you for a while. And like BJ was saying, once you start figuring out how that works, you don't need Weight Watchers anymore. You start planning your own things and realizing that, wow, I don't have to send all my money here. I can take control of my own diet, which is basically what Weight Watchers starts to do. If you're going to start out doing anything, Weight Watchers is a good way to get your feet wet. So
there you go. So Weight Watchers, if you're watching this and you want to sue me, I don't have much, so you can have it all. I'm just going to keep my cameras and shit. The next one, I already called it out. Vegan, I can't do that. I can't put myself. It's a plant-based diet. I've lived in that for a little bit, not completely, but I've done a lot of the salads and stuff. I've pushed over to a lot of plant-based in my current diet, but I can't go 100%. I just can't commit.
When you're doing a whole food plant-based diet, what vegans are, we shouldn't really say diet. Everyone says vegan diet, but truthfully, vegan's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. And with vegans, you don't want to harm animals. So you're not just eating vegetables and stuff, you're not wearing leather or fake leather from cows or whatever. I guess that would be your untanned leather. So rawhide, you're not doing that stuff. You're trying to do whatever it takes to not harm animals or insects. So you're not going to eat fig Newtons because there's ground up wasps in fig Newtons and stuff. You got to watch out. Like Oreos, that's a vegan food. There's no animal matter inside Oreos. So you want to be totally vegan, you can eat Oreos. We were talking about vegan being a lifestyle, not so much a diet. And when you're eating a vegan lifestyle, you just don't want to harm animals in any way, shape, or form. And what I like about vegans is I like their whole food, plant-based diet. And that's when you're eating all the vegetables you want, and you're not really hitting any grains. Grains have been shown to cause issues in human beings, and you don't even know it. In fact, I started doing a bulk up a couple weeks ago to pack on some muscle, and I started incorporating grains back into my diet, something that I usually never had a problem with. But then I started feeling sick. And when I say sick, I'm not talking nauseous. I felt like I had a cold or, wow, I must have COVID or something. But that's not what the situation was. It's just your body starts to inflame eating certain grains. And you never think about that too much until you've gone a long period without them, like I have. When I was heavier, I've been up to 275 training. I wasn't a round, fat, pudgy person, but I was in shape. I played football in college or doing powerlifting. So did I have body fat? Yes, but I had a lot of muscle too. So it's not like I was some, marshmallow man. But going back to what I was saying, I used to eat greens all the time as if there was nothing wrong with it, and there wasn't. But now that I've gone to eating whole food, plant-based, with a lot of meat involved, I start to realize the effects that grains have on your body. So I know I went a little off of the vegan thing on that, but it's important to know that grains probably aren't the best on any diets. And you're talking about your cereals and your breads, and that's usually stuff that gets you bloated up anyway. So you want to try and avoid that. But going back to vegan's lifestyle, not so much diet, it's a great diet. It does everything you need it to do to keep you healthy. What I do personally, I follow the vegan diet, but I add meat. So I'm eating vegetables, I can eat sweet potatoes if I want, but I stay away from that. But most of your leafy green vegetables, and then I use clean protein sources to get extra protein in there. And my lipid levels, cholesterol levels, they've cut in half. I used to walk around with 600 as my cholesterol level. Weird. People are like, oh, you're going to die. Well, I did it for years. And now it's down into the lower 200s, which is a lot lower than what it used to be. And you don't want to go too crazy with lowering your cholesterol. There's a higher mortality rate to people who have extreme low cholesterol than people who have high cholesterol. If you have high cholesterol, just call yourself an American.
Uh-huh. All right, so that led me, he said something real important to me. He said that he adds meat to it. So that brings me to the last one we're kind of going to discuss, and I'll kind of go open and just discuss some shit, is the paleo diet. This one I like. Yeah, it requires eating a shit ton of meat. And that's the pushback with it, because you're eating a shit ton of meat. It's the cost that's associated with it, because it's high quantities of meat that you're going to be consuming. But again, he kind of touched a high cholesterol, high uric acid, which could lead to gout. But God damn it, I love meat.
Yeah, other things you could take with the paleo diet, that sort of works similar to what I was saying with your whole food, plant-based, and meat at the same time. You're navigating different waters here. I have a tremendous problem. I overeat. I call it tremendous because it's a big problem, but it's in a positive way. I like overeating. If I'm not eating, then I'm not going to sustain a large muscle mass, especially in a dieted state that I sometimes get into. But as far as paleo, it's a great diet. As long as you, like I said, all diets are great. And in the end, your body's reading all these diets, and it's seeing the calories. They're underneath what you need to survive. So your body's going to start burning stuff. And when it's burning stuff, a lot of times it's either going to be lean muscle tissue or fat. So what you want to do is supply yourself with enough protein to keep the protein breakdown to a minimum. And hopefully you're just burning a lot of fat on that.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask a question. So the people that are kind of watching, you were in competitions at one point.
Yes. I used to compete in the NGA, which is Lifetime Drug-Free Bodybuilding. And I did that at the turn of the century, and I did one NPC show, and that was for, just for experience to see how that worked, and that was also a drug-tested show too. But yeah, getting on stage, it is different. It forced me to watch everything that I was eating, and I used several different diet techniques in order to get on stage.
Awesome. So that's kind of end the whole topic on the diets and all that stuff. And if you want, and you want to have Rocco back as a guest host, talk a little bit about physique, physical fitness, the actual act of going through the training and all that. He himself usually posts a lot of stuff on his social media. But if you want something that's a little more detailed, like a one-on-one for you to look at, where he gives tips, pointers, and a routine for you to follow, say something down in the comments below. I'm sure he'll happily come back. We'll pick his brains apart. Always smash the like button, subscribe, share this shit, because I want to get it out there. We're not sponsored by Powerade. I just have these drinks here because 0 calories, 0 sugar. We're talking about dieting, but I drink these every day. Have for years. So with that being said, this is the Poppa B Show. This is Rocco.
Thank you for having me on. Like I said, what he was saying, hit the like button and everything. But just remember, things on the internet, they're free. Right there. You can learn so much on diet, nutrition, and training. They didn't have this when we were younger. We had to go by trial and error, Does this exercise work? Well, let's figure it out. In about 3 weeks, we'll know. So you've got everything at your fingertips. Don't sit around getting out of shape or letting your health deteriorate. Get out there, read, be whatever you want to be, because at this moment in time, it's the best time to be that. Everything's at your fingertips. So use the internet and use it wisely.
All right. With that being said, this is the Poppa B Show, and we're out of here.